folks, if we can take our seats now that we've had a little activity up on your feet and gotten to know each other a little bit better. What I'd like to do next is kind of share with you my vision in terms of core things that I believe in as an educational leader in terms of helping all of us work together for student learning and student achievement. If it's okay with everybody, if I can get a little comfortable here with you folks as we get started, we'll talk about what I think is one of the most key principles in terms of a successful school. Okay, and that is everybody is a stakeholder. In terms of our school, it doesn't matter if you're a custodian, a classroom teacher, a secretary, a parapro, a bus driver who drops our students off and picks them up, a superintendent, a board of education member, our maintenance person. Everybody is a stakeholder. Likewise for our parents, our local business people, our taxpayers. Perhaps they had kids in our school at one time and no longer they do. Maybe they never had kids in our school, but they pay taxes that help our school operate on a daily basis. I think it's critical that we understand and value each person as a stakeholder in Brighton area middle school. The reason I believe that's important is from that understanding, the next key thing, okay, is relationships. From that understanding and that respect that everybody has a stake in the success of Brighton area middle school students is the opportunity to develop and foster relationships. These things don't happen by accident. We've got to reach out to all these people, whether it's our kids, our parents, our business leaders. It doesn't matter. You know, we've got to communicate who we are, what we're doing, where we need our help, all of those type of things. And we've got to ask for help. We've got to be willing to ask and recognize that we can't just do it by ourselves. Not in our individual classrooms, not inside the four walls of our school building, but we need the community as a whole. We've got to invest in those relationships. We've got to put some work, just like any relationship, to maintain these relationships. We've got to recognize people when they do contribute to our school, okay? Those relationships, I think, are really things that when we value everybody being a stakeholder, we put our time and efforts into bringing people into the fold, that's where we get dividends. Now, cutting down to some core common norms. I'm not going to give you the whole educational jargon about norms, but there are some things that I believe in, okay? Respect, okay? Respect. We've got to respect our students. We've got to respect each other as colleagues. We've got to respect our parents. I know I've sat in faculty rooms just like you have, and you know, we sometimes gripe about, you know, parents, those type of things. But how do we not know that that mother is out working 2 jobs, and she's got 5 kids, and the one that happens to be in our building not only has to get himself dressed and fed, but take care of his 4 siblings as well. You know, we've got to respect that each and every kid that comes into our building is that opportunity for us to contribute to as a student, okay, regardless of their circumstances, regardless of where they come from. Same thing with our community members, our parents, ourselves as colleagues. We have to respect each other as colleagues. Communication, okay? It starts with that respect, but how do we learn about that mother that's working 2 jobs? Or how do we understand, you know, what our colleague in the science department is not happy about this? By having the dialogue, by having the communication. That's what's important, you know. That's how we figure out what people are feeling. That's how we figure out really what the truth is, not what the secondhand story we heard in the faculty lounge is. We've got to have that dialogue as professionals. The hallmark thing that I firmly believe in as part of that communication is honesty, okay? We have to have that honesty with each other. At the end of the day, we can have communication, but if it's not based in truth, regardless of who it's with, that communication will not be there when we need it. It will be false communication. We won't have respected the people that we're communicating with because we will not have had an honest dialogue. That's a great segue into trust, okay? respecting people, having the dialogue through communication, having the honest conversations, that's what builds trust. And that's where gains are made educationally. When we try and say everybody's a stakeholder, that's a great soundbite. But if we invest in those relationships, we respect people, we communicate, we're honest in our communications, that builds a trust. And that's where we can make gains. And that's where we can profit by those relationships that we've invested in. Acceptance. You know, not everybody's going to like me as your new middle school principal. I get that. Okay? I just hope that you will respect me in terms of my job that I've got to do to come here and support you and help you be successful every single day. That said, we're not always going to agree. You may believe in some things, you may like some things. I may like others. I may believe in different, educational principles. But you know what? Regardless of what side of the fence we're on, we have to accept what other people's positions and opinions are and who they are. Regardless of gender, regardless of race, regardless of religion, regardless of sexual orientation, it doesn't matter. Okay? If we're going to have that honest dialogue, if we're going to have those communications, we've got to have that acceptance. That's a key piece of trust. And forgiveness. I will tell you, this is my first year as a middle school principal. Am I going to be perfect? No. I thought I did a very good job in the last position I held for the last 10 years. Was I perfect in that job? No. I haven't met the perfect person yet. Not the perfect student, not the perfect parent, not the perfect classroom teacher, superintendent, board member, any of our stakeholders. We have to understand that, we will all screw up, we will all make mistakes, and forgiveness is another core norm and another core component that goes right along with acceptance and trust and honesty and communication and respect to building those relationships where we invited everybody in as our stakeholder. Okay. You got to stay away from that.